Okie doke. Drink.
You all right over there?
What's up? I said I was getting a drink.
Ah.
Did something fuck up?
No, it sounded more like a. Like he's choking. What's the button in Discord to hit him on the back?
If I'm choking, you'll know. There's no indistinguishable sound, just Geoff dying sounds, and you're just very in the know that Geoff is dying.
And your entire podcast empire comes crashing down because of one little cherry.
Yup.
You may hate the movie, but that scene is amazing.
Oh no, I didn't hate the movie. I was completely dumbfounded by the movie.
I just hated myself for watching it.
No, I hated myself for watching Temple of Doom. I did not hate my life while watching Fifth Element. I was just very confused. Welcome back, everyone, to a new edition of Screenplay Rewind. I'm Geoff.
I'm Ron.
And what are we covering this week to round out our Indiana Jones coverage?
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Everybody's favorite.
According to IMDb, the popularity is charting upward. It's up 132 IMDb point.
What was it up originally? Like 100 and,
I don't know. It's sitting at 782, and I don't know what these numbers mean.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that too. It's just a very arbitrary number with like a pointing up. It's like, that means nothing to me.
I wonder if this is like the number of searches or
maybe
or something, because that new trailer or the new Indiana Jones movie is being filmed, so maybe people are looking everything up, so it makes sense. Well, it's not filming right now because Indiana Jones is injured, but yes.
And they could take care of like other shit that he's not in. Like there's got to be.
They'll just airbrush him out. It'll be fine.
Harrison Ford belongs in a museum.
This time, God. Steven Spielberg was like, "So do you."
Oh, interesting enough, I found out over the last week or so in doing more research about the new one. Spielberg is not directing the fifth one.
Oh yeah, is he executive producer?
It is. Yeah, I think he's back as an EP on it, but the director I'm actually really excited about. It is James Mangold, who directed Logan. So if he can come up with a good send-off,
this is gonna be the darkest Indiana Jones yet.
If he can come up with a very poignant send-off for Indiana Jones like he did for Wolverine, I'm okay with this. I think it might be in good hands.
I just want a moment where Indiana Jones turns around, stares at a guy through his entire monologue, and then says, "Get the fuck out of my car."
Yes.
That's all I want from that movie.
All about it. But yeah, I did not know that, and I'm actually a lot more intrigued by it. That it's Mangold doing it, because man, this movie is weird, dude. Crystal Skull is fucking weird. Spoilers for 13-year-old Crystal Skull.
Now, when was the last time you watched this movie?
I think the last time I watched this movie was probably when it went on DVD, maybe? It has been at least a decade since I watched this last. I want to say.
I'm pretty sure that my DVD is still in shrink wrap. So I think the last time I watched this was in theaters 13 years ago.
So you watched it the one time and then never again?
And then never again.
Okay, this is going to be fascinating just to see like where we fall in on this movie, because this movie is fucking all over the place, dude. But let's break it down like we usually do. Spielberg is back as the director of this one. David Koepp wrote the screenplay off of a story by Mr. George Lucas himself and Jeff Nathanson. Weirdly enough, have you ever looked...
I'm sorry, I just love that. I just love that the way you say his name, it puts a question mark at the end of it.
Which person?
You're like, Jeff Nathanson?
Oh, I was leading up to... Have you ever looked at David Koepp, the screenplay writer for this career?
No.
It's fucking crazy. I'm going to tell you, these are his screenplay credits over the past 20 years, Ron, okay? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
That's going to blow your mind, dude. And it's all over the place, like good and bad.
Yeah, this is...
So he wrote The New Mummy.
Nuts.
He wrote the new fucking Angels and Demons fucking Da Vinci Code movies. He wrote Crystal Skull, War of the Worlds, Secret Window, Spider-Man, Panic Room, Stir of Echoes, the Jurassic Park sequel and the original one, Mission Impossible 1, The Shadow, Carlito's Way, Toy Soldiers. It's just like, it's so all over the place and in so many genres that it's very bizarre to me that I didn't really know who this dude was.
Yeah, this is that's kind of weird, dude. He's had quite the sprawling career.
Yeah. And it's like, if you just looked up raw box office, this guy's got to be one of the most like prolific screenwriters in history. But like, I feel like no one knows who he is because it's just all over the place. You know, you can't like, he just, I mean, kudos to him. He fucking works. Like, he has to be just fucking bathing in residuals from all these big movies, you know, even the bad ones. Like, they make like a lot of the bad ones on here were still movies that made a decent amount of money, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah.
good for him. He just maybe he wouldn't have been my choice to write a sequel for Indiana Jones based on some of the
He wrote one
shit.
of the Jurassic Park video games?
That's bizarre.
War of the Worlds, Zathra.
Unless he was just credited with like
Maybe.
characters or, you know, story credits. Story credits in the fucking industry are weird.
Hey, Geoff, did you remember John Hurt being in this movie?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
Had you forgotten he was in it?
I forgot he was in it. I forgot Ray Winstone was in it. Yeah.
It has a good cast, and 90% of the people casted have nothing to do.
Yep.
So, yeah. Let's see. I broke down the director and writers. Obviously, Harrison Ford is back as Indiana Jones. Kate Blanchett is playing Irina Spalko. Shia LaBeouf is playing Mutt Williams. Karen Allen back as Marion Ravenwood. Ray Winstone's playing Mac. John Hurt, as you mentioned, he's playing Professor Oxley. Jim Broadbent is playing Dean Charles Stanforth and is essentially the kind of shoe-in for Brody, since Brody, the actor, unfortunately passed away in the 90s.
When I first saw this, when I was watching this time, I was like, oh, I forgot you're in this. And then I remembered the very first time I saw this, I was like, please tell me they didn't recast Brody.
I know.
Please tell me they didn't recast Brody.
I had the same thought as soon as I saw the beginning of the movie, and just the way that because they even framed the sequence the exact same way they always showed, you know, with the camera angles of, you know, Brody walking up to his classroom. You know, it's always shot the same way. It's just like a little staple of the franchise, kind of. I thought they had recast it, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. And yet they did something even more disrespectful than they would have done by recasting him in the movie, which is, again, one of the most bizarre things I could possibly think of to add to a sequel for Indiana Jones, and this movie is full of them. It's gonna be a weird episode. I'm sorry, everybody. It's gonna be weird. I don't hate this movie, by the way. I just am fucking baffled by some of the decision making.
This is Fifth Element again.
I like Fifth Element better than this.
Whoa!
Fifth Element is at least like originally bonkers. This is just boring and bonkers at the same. Somehow. So, like, the way that I put it with Indiana Jones sequels that I, you know, out of the ones that are not, you know, epically good like Last Crusade is, I find Temple of Doom painful to watch, and I find Crystal Skull kind of painfully boring.
Okay. How do you think it stacks up against Temple of Doom was my question.
I think it's better than Temple of Doom. I think Temple of Doom has a much better third act. Like my biggest issue with Crystal Skull is like the plot meanders so much you don't really give a shit about what's happening most of the time. Like the third act, they give you not enough information to really be invested or give a shit about what's happening, because they never really develop what Spalko's plans are once she gets the knowledge and shit. It's just they're just kind of mindlessly going around the jungle. It's weird.
This movie was an excuse to get weird with it more than anything, I think, more than to tell a story. They're just like, how weird can we make this?
Yeah. Where do you fall in on Crystal Skull versus Temple of Doom?
I think this is now my third favorite Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones movie. I think this is now my third favorite. I like it better than. I liked it. It's better than I remember it being.
Okay. I think there is a significantly better movie hidden inside this movie.
I agree.
That would be much better if it was edited better and certain sequences were eliminated completely from the film. So first of all, let's just start off with the opening. I really like the opening in the warehouse. Yes. I think the opening in the warehouse is really cool. It actually remembers to make Indiana Jones like human for once.
Yes.
When he has the scene where he tries to do like the swinging and then misses and then falls backwards. That's amazing. That is peak Indiana Jones moment right there. It's perfect.
And I love how the two soldiers on either side of him are just as baffled as he is about what just happened. Like nobody reacts as he sits there.
And it's such a good line, such a great delivery. You know, I thought that was closer. You know, it's so good. It's so like I love everything about this. All the stuff in the warehouse, pretty much. Just real quickly, I find the opening kind of like fucking around car chase one of the things that should have been edited out of the film.
Really?
What the fucking point? What are they going for with the random card, like, other than to establish that this movie is in the 50s, which they do 5 million fucking times in the first half of this movie. Like, I fucking get it. We're in the 50s. Please.
Are you talking about the drag race or the motorcycle chase?
I'm talking about the car of like 50s teenagers driving next to the Ukrainians.
So before they even get to the warehouse.
Yes, before they get to the warehouse.
See, I didn't count that as a chase. So I was like, really? You didn't like the motorcycle chase? Okay.
I like, why is that opening? It reminds me of the fucking bullshit dance sequence in Temple of Doom. Why is it there? Why is it there?
I agree.
It makes no fucking sense. You're not even establishing Spalko in that. It only focuses on like her random henchmen.
Yep.
I don't understand it. Like this movie is, how long is this? Like 2 hours and 8 minutes or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. A little over 2 hours. If you cut about 20 minutes out of this movie and made it like a lean hour and 40, I think that would fix some of the pacing issues and also fix a lot of the problems that people have with.
I think a lot of the issues you touched on is in the editing. It seems like there's just a lot of little like odds and ends and chaff that would normally be trimmed off that they just ignored and left in.
You mean like
throughout the entire movie?
You mean like when we triple down on the Gophers for no fucking reason? Like, what the fuck is that?
Hey, you leave my Gophers alone.
What? I love Gophers and or prairie dogs and or whatever the fuck they're supposed to be. Why are they in this fucking movie? Why are they in the movie three times?
Because Gophers.
Oh, why did you go out of your way to get like Jim Broadbent and John Hurt and give the fucking Gophers more fucking screen time than those do?
Hey, it's all worth it for them watching the rocket sled go by, dude.
It's
all worth it.
This movie is just
this movie
so fucking weird to me.
Okay. So I believe I described some of the antics through all three movies. Basically, where Indiana Jones is kind of like a live action cartoon in places. This is the most cartooniest one of them all.
It's real dumb.
This one is more akin to Looney Tunes than any of the rest of them. And I think some of that works. I think some of it doesn't. I get your complaint with the Gophers, but for me, it was all worth it, them watching the rocket sled go by. I laughed out loud when I watched the rocket sled go by.
You know what it reminded me of, unfortunately, is one of the things that I absolutely hate about Temple of Doom is how much they double and triple down on shit, and this movie does it too.
Yes.
They double and then triple down on the Gophers.
Like at the dinner.
You have, and I can't fucking stand how many times they go out of their way to make like references to this being in the 50s. You have fucking Harrison Ford speak an I Like Ike joke.
Yep.
And then 10 minutes later, unnecessarily double down with I Like Ike being on the fucking nuke. It's like this movie had like multiple drafts. And instead of like trimming it down and condensing it and making it like a fluid script, they just like kept multiple drafts and just like merged them together that also included some of the same material.
The thing that was driving me nuts is how they had to keep referencing the prior Indiana Jones movies with little lines of dialogue here and there.
Which one specifically were bugging you the most?
The one that stands out to me in my mind, they do stuff from all characters throughout the entire movie, beginning to end, But I think Indiana Jones himself says like 2 or 3 times this is intolerable.
I thought he just said it the one time, but I might be mistaken. It's been a few days since I'd watched this.
Yeah, but they make all kinds of references to it, and I was like, it's the only movie, except for that one moment in Temple of Doom, that re-references the entire franchise over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Rather than just letting Indiana Jones be Indiana Jones, or Marion be Marion. I didn't take extensive notes. My notes are more mental, so I should have had better examples for that. But
no, you're fine.
As I watched it, I was just like, "Come on, I got it. Can we? Okay, I got it."
They in another weirdly referential thing that I found like incredibly disrespectful. What is up with him crashing and breaking the Brody statue? That scene.
Oh,
they play it up as like a joke, and I'm like, the dude died. Why are you making a joke out of his statue? And not only did his character just die in the canon, because he talks about how his dad and Brody had both, died within the past couple of years, but the fucking actor died in real life. It felt very weirdly disrespectful to me to have them break the head off of his statue.
That was one of them, because the thing that happens immediately after is Mutt acts like Indy did in Last Crusade, and Indy acts like Henry did in Last Crusade on the motorcycle chase also.
I don't mind that as a callback. If it had been outside of the context of disrespecting the character,
by this point, there'd already been like 3 or 4 other ones. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. And I probably have only noticed that because we've watched these back to back to back. So that's probably the only reason why I'm noticing it as much.
I think this is probably like the worst way to watch these sequels too, because if you watch Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull within quick succession of Last Crusade and Raiders, you can just tell how all over the place the quality is,
Yeah.
Because, man. What do you think of Cate Blanchett's character? She's Irina Spalko again. She's the kind of main villain, question mark?
What do I think of her character or her performance?
Both.
I think her performance is fine. I think they didn't really give her a lot to do.
Yeah.
I think you said that at the beginning of the show. That is true for most everyone, including Indy, a lot of the time.
It's unfortunate.
My question,
because it has a great cast. If you just look at the cast in a nutshell, most of it's like really good, It's
the trailers too for this were amazing, by the way. I got pumped up. I watched the movie, and then when I watched the trailers again, I got pumped up for the movie I just watched because the trailer is so good. What did you think of Shia LaBeouf, both character and performance?
I think his performance is actually really good, considering they went out of their way to like almost Willie Scott him and make him annoying for a good portion of the first half of the movie, I think. Everything they have him do as far as fencing and the monkey chasing like through the fucking trees, like everything they do with his character in the second half of the movie ruins the character for me, kind of. I don't hate him though. I don't hate the performance.
Mutt is kind of worthless. Like if you took him edited him completely out of the movie, I don't think anything changes in the entire movie.
Yeah, you're not. No, we have. Are you telling me you would give up that serene fucking Tarzan swinging through the jungle, dude? I will not have that talk on this podcast.
Why wasn't Welcome to the Jungle playing while that was going?
See, that could have salvaged the moment.
It would have salvaged the whole movie.
That could have salvaged the whole fucking movie,
As far as Shia LaBeouf goes, though, I distinctly remember, and I was telling my wife this today, when this movie came out, I hated every second of Shia LaBeouf because at the time he had like 5 movies coming out a year. And I was just like, can you please get off my fucking screen, Shia LaBeouf? I had the same reaction to him that a lot of people have to The Rock. And going back 13 years later, like, okay, character aside, some of the dialogue aside, take away anything that's out of Shia LaBeouf's control. He's actually pretty fucking good. And like his line delivery on some of the stuff is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, he did an excellent job.
He does a remarkable job, considering how much they went out of their way to make you want to hate him by the end of the film, I think.
My favorite line from his character could have easily just been a ugh or an eye roll moment when he's like, you're a teacher? And you know, like, that's my favorite line from him after Indy takes out like 5 dudes.
It's a good scene. Part-time.
And like just the look on his face and the way he delivers that line, and that would be such an easy line to fuck up. And like his line delivery on that is perfect. His timing on a lot of stuff when they're in the diner and he like is reaching over and dipping his comb in the dude's Coca-Cola, and like he takes the beer off and Indy puts it back on the tray, and like that little stuff, the physical comedy aspect of it, he plays that off really well, really naturally.
Yeah,
it was a really solid performance from Shia LaBeouf.
I love the scene too later where they're about to execute him at like the tents, and he takes a second to comb his hair, and he's like, "Okay, now you can kill me." He's just gotta look good. And that's a cool little character moment.
And Kate Blanchett in that moment, how many villains are just like, "I see, I've chosen the wrong victim," like, and then just completely change his tactic because instead of just like fucking doing it or whatever, because she can see it won't have any effect.
Man, it's just a shame that you get Kate freaking Blanchett and then give her fuck all to do. I think her performance is fine.
I think you take away everything out of her control, just like Shia LaBeouf, and she's great as she always is.
I think she's fine. I think she.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I mean, come on, man.
By the way, she's like in her 50s now, and she's still gorgeous.
She is a replicant, just like Gillian Anderson is. They get like hotter with the older they get, and it's not okay. It just defies all laws of physics, and I am scared and okay with this. But I think I think she tries a little bit too hard to give her character like a character.
I think almost like she's trying straws because her character doesn't have any character.
That's what I'm saying. I think she's overcompensating for how shitty her character is, and her trying to overcompensate doesn't really help.
I also wonder how much of that is directing though, like bigger, like from the side behind the camera, just bigger.
This is another thing too. There are so many things in this movie. Spielberg should fucking know better. But this was 2008. How many goddamn blockbusters had Spielberg made by this? Like 50? Like, come on, man. How do you think it's gonna go over okay to have like the fridge nuke and the fencing on the fucking car and just all this dumb shit?
The fencing on the car didn't bother me.
I found the fencing on the car so fucking stupid. It's so contrived. Why does she have a sword in the fucking first place? They make fucking LaBeouf a fencer just to have an excuse to have him fucking fencing her on the cars, just so his nuts can get hit by fucking foliage in the jungle.
Yeah, I hate that I'm fine so with much. The fencing. It's the nut shots.
I think it's all fucking dumb.
I was like, all right, guys, I got it. Right? It was just nut shot. And it wasn't funny the first time.
And I am 1000% okay with silly stuff in Indiana Jones. We both loved the stupid ass Nazi kamikaze tunnel scene. That's stupid as fuck, and it's amazing because it's really funny.
Poor bastard.
It's really funny, and it kind of like fits within the tone of the film. Like this movie just I don't know. It almost feels like a Mel Brooks parody of an Indiana Jones movie more than like an Indiana Jones sequel to me.
The way I described it,
but not funny.
The way I described it to my wife is that at this point the snake is eating its own tail, because we had Indiana Jones, and then Uncharted tried to emulate that, and now they're kind of emulating Uncharted. This movie feels more like an Uncharted movie than an Indiana Jones movie, in a lot of ways to me.
Uncharted hadn't really happened soon enough to really influence this, though.
I know, but what I'm saying is the tone and the direction it goes and the things that they do throughout the movie, it just feels a lot more like Uncharted.
I am just very disappointed in Spielberg for, first of all, letting George Lucas still be a part of this fucking franchise at all after the prequels of Star Wars had happened.
Dude, the worst moment in this movie for me was when the two names popped up at the same time on screen, Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas.
Dude, Kathleen, if I see Kathleen Kennedy's name associated with anything now, I have a physical reaction and I'm instantly wanting to just vomit. She's such a fucking hack.
One after the other pop up in the upper right corner at the exact same time. They fade in together. And I was like, of course.
How do you let someone who has been nothing but a fucking executive producer and not even really contributing to this shit be handed the keys to the fucking kingdom, dude? That's
they're
so
contributing.
ridiculous.
They're contributing. Everything that's bad about this stuff, I believe, is them.
I don't think Kathleen Kennedy contributes anything. I think she just is just there to be
just bitches till everyone gives in.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know how she does it. Anything with her name on it is just bad.
It's like it's as soon as she got into power, quote unquote, within Lucasfilm, they definitely. I mean, like the most recent Star Wars movies are also all fucking over the place. I don't know, dude. It's very. I wish she would just get fucking fired or retire so we can have someone who actually, like, when you have at Disney Feige, like, how do you not realize the potential of having like an overall architect for your franchise? You know,
That's what Star Wars needs more than anything.
Yeah, like if Star Wars, the new trilogy had been, I don't know, some people wouldn't like this. I would have felt much better had like a Rian Johnson been at least involved for all three movies, so all three movies would have at least felt like they belonged within the same trilogy.
Yeah.
It's just, and again, because I don't think she fucking does anything, she let all three of the new Star Wars movies be completely like unique and not gel at all together, because I don't think she fucking does anything. I think she just greenlights shit and hopes for the fucking best because she's a hack. But I mean, we spent way too much time talking about Kathleen Kennedy, so let's get back to the movie at hand.
Hey,
I think what do you think? This is another issue I have with the movie. What do you think of Ray Winstone's character in this movie? Because I think his character is fucking worthless.
That's what I was about to bring up, was Ray Winstone. At any point, did they ever have you fooled with him about anything?
No. And
it's supposed to be a twist like 3 times. And I'm like, guys.
It's supposed to be a twist. And also, he's fucked over Indy like 12 times. Why does Indy give a shit about saving him at the end? They play it up like it's supposed to be like an emotional moment. Who fucking cares? He's an asshole who cares about nothing but money. Why are you even bothering to try to fucking save him? Yeah, he's trying to take more fucking gold. Like, fuck off.
He's running around like Benny trying to grab everything that he can.
I was thinking about that too. Like, they ripped off The Mummy, which ripped off Indiana Jones, and Mummy did it so much better.
The snake is eating the tail.
Okay, there's a scene. I love the scene in the quicksand. Yeah. Where he can't grab the snake unless they call it a rope. That's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. Dude, I laugh out loud when that happens. It's
Marion
so good.
And Mutt's facial expressions and tone of voice when they call it a rope.
I love that scene, dude. And that's again, it makes this movie like very frustrating because there is some, like, the motorcycle chase around the school is awesome. The snake scene's really good. The warehouse scene's really good.
That warehouse scene is probably the biggest detriment to the movie because it gets you so pumped and gets your blood going, and then there's the rest of the movie.
Yeah, they blew up all over the fucking launch pad, dude. It sucks.
Yeah,
that's one of that warehouse sequence, and I think the motorcycle sequence is also really fucking good. All the good shit. How do you start your movie out with the fucking warehouse sequence and the fucking motorcycle sequence around the university, and then you think like your big climactic chase is gonna involve Shia LaBeouf fencing and getting hit in the nuts with fucking branches? Like, come on, man.
The one that made me like jump in my seat though is when fucking Marion gets it across the face by a branch. I'm like, okay, you're dead, dude.
You're dead.
You're dead. But when that happened, I was like, oh, fuck me when it happened.
Yeah.
But no, Ray Winstone, hold on. Let's back up a second.
Okay.
Because the thing that annoyed me, right, is when he's leaving the breadcrumb trail for Cate Blanchett, they show him doing it actively. And then it's portrayed as a twist when he's like a triple agent or whatever. And I'm like, how is it a twist when you're showing us him actively leading her there?
Spielberg has got Spielberg. I ultimately blame Spielberg because he first of all accepted the script, which should have been, in my opinion, you know how it happens with a lot of scripts. It happened like the one I remember most is Doctor Strange. Most people don't know this. If you see ampersands in a script credit, it means it was a writing team. And if you see the word "and," it means it went through multiple revisions from different writing teams or different individuals. What I think they should have done is David Koepp's screenplay has some good shit in it. They should have brought someone in to get a full-on "and" credit and get rid of all the dumb shit and screen like a kind of like a streamline it. To me. I don't. What are your thoughts on Ray Winstone in general? Because I realized as I was watching this, I feel like I should like Ray Winstone just because he's been in a lot of shit over the years. I don't think I've ever really loved a Ray Winstone performance. Do you like Ray Winstone just outside of the context of Crystal Skull?
I mean, I could take him or leave him. I don't. Yeah. I'm really indifferent. But just like Mutt Williams, if you take him out of the movie, absolutely nothing changes.
He is to me the most worthless fucking character in this movie.
Yeah.
I think they could have. Here's the thing too. Here's a big issue about a character that we haven't mentioned yet. That I'll mention right now. John Hurt's character could have been fleshed out more, and they could have, because I think a big issue with the movie is another thing that they try to like force you into being emotional about is the relationship between Oxley, John Hurt's character, and Shia LaBeouf. You know, they have this past. Why don't you take out every worthless fucking scene and line that Ray Winstone has and have like a flashback or something to like LaBeouf's character and John Hurt's character to some extent, just to like give you a reason, because they play it up like it's this big, emotional thing. Like, like when LaBeouf sees all of the writings on the wall when he thinks his friends got insane, he's like bawling his eyes out. And LaBeouf is always very emotional, but why don't you like give us some more character motivations for people? And, you have John Hurt, give him more to do. It's weird for a movie that's over 2 hours long. It feels very underdeveloped in a lot of different areas.
But to his credit, as he does with every role he's ever had, John Hurt is acting his ass off.
John Hurt's fantastic in this. Give him more to do. He's so good.
Yeah.
When he comes back, dude, help. It's one of the best lines in the movie because John Hurt was a fucking genius.
Go get help. Help. Like he just keeps shouting help back at him even louder.
He has this many
wonder
different...
how much of that is just John Hurt improving the character too. Because I could easily see just turning John Hurt loose, because he is one of those classy guys, or at least he was when he was still with us, and I still miss him.
Man, I miss that man. God damn, I miss that man.
He's still one of those classy guys that you can just kind of turn loose, and he'll chew up the scenery without overdoing it. Like, I don't know. He's a fucking genius. He gives
incredible.
Every performance like it's the performance of his fucking life. And as much as I love Doctor Who, at the end of the day, it's kind of a kid's show in a way. And he's acting his ass off, dude. And there's so much emotion in the War Doctor. And
they specifically got him for the role of the War Doctor for that very reason. Yeah. Because like, what actor
even
can
when
we
he's
get?
Telling jokes, his eyes are so fucking sad.
What they were probably thinking, what actor can we get that can immediately drum up an entire history and pathos behind this character without actually having screen time to do so? And that's John fucking Hurt, dude. And he knocked out the goddamn park because he was like an audible. They didn't even really intend to make the War Doctor a character, period. He was an audible because Eccleston wouldn't come back and do it. So
exactly, that's the whole reason the War Doctor exists.
For him to come in at the basically 11th hour and create such like a beloved and like really cool character is 90% John Hurt to me.
And he seems like one of those dudes that all you have to do is ask, and he just kind of shows up. Like because his IMDb page is forever long with all kinds of crazy shit.
Right, his career and just his performances remind me a lot in different aspects, but a lot of like Tim Curry. Where you could throw Tim Curry in whatever fucking random ass, garbage ass movie, and he would portray to the best of his abilities, no matter what character he was given.
Also, I don't know why, but John Hurt's voice is kind of gruff, but he could read me the phone book and I would be intently listening. It's something about the way he talks, like the way he uses his voice. I don't know. You would think as gruff as he kind of sounds, that it would be kind of grating, but no. He could read me the fucking phone book.
And I think ultimately one of the biggest issues I have with this movie is, like I had mentioned previously, because everyone is very underdeveloped, I don't give a flying fuck what is happening the entire third act. I could not care less. Because there's no stakes, really. They don't establish what Cate Blanchett's character wants to do with the knowledge. They just establish that she's fucking crazy. She has a random sword just so she can randomly fucking fence buff on the goddamn fucking cars.
Yeah.
And you don't even really... There's no stakes. This is a follow-up to Indiana Jones having to find the fucking Holy Grail and solve all the puzzles while his dad is dying.
Yep.
That is the third act that just fucking happened in Spielberg's own directed movie.
And they
it's 101.
And in Last Crusade, they talk about imagine like immortal Nazis. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, any army that has the Ark is invincible. So what happens if the Nazis get it? And then I don't remember, but the chakra stones, even they talk about what happens if like a bunch of bad guys get all the chakra stones and the dude's got like 3 of the 5 or something. But yeah, they established that in all 3 movies. And in this movie, there is a skull. And we're going to do a thing. That is all.
It's so boring. It's so dreadfully boring. Because at least with as many issues as I have with Temple of Doom, at least the third act's cool. Like, shit is happening that you care about, you know? Like the shit with the bridge, Indy getting mind controlled. Like, I don't like that the third act takes 10 years to go, you know, to develop, but it's cool. This movie is just, it just meanders the whole way through after the amazing first, like, 30 minutes.
What I thought of when I was thinking about this movie is that Temple of Doom all of a sudden kind of struck me as like a 90s superhero movie, in that the first and second parts you really just kind of get through so you can get to the third act. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what that movie, it feels like the precursor to the 90s superhero movie. This movie feels like an excuse to have Harrison Ford wearing the fedora again.
I'm at least glad that if there was ever a performance that Harrison Ford easily could have phoned in, it was this one. I think Harrison Ford's actually pretty good in this. It's not his best Indy portrayal, but I think he's fine as Indy in this one.
Again, I don't know how much of that is his fault, because there's so much going on with this script and directing. Yeah, I kind of feel like everyone is kind of doing the best with what they have, because there's not a bad cast here, like we've already said.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that with this kind of cast, that it's got to be, you know, it's got to be in the writing, it's got to be in the directing, it's got to be somewhere else. I feel like these people are all feeling like they're doing the best what they can. I don't know, with what they have. I mean, I don't know.
I want to specifically talk about. I hate the nuking the fridge scene, not specifically because of how like dumb it is and like how he'd be fucking hamburger helper by the end of it's brutal not only how many times the fridge crashes into the fucking ground, but just how hardcore it is. Like he'd be a fucking 7-Eleven Slurpee inside that goddamn refrigerator, man. But here's the thing, Ron, what purpose does that sequence serve in the film?
I have no idea.
It serves absolutely no purpose, and here's why. You have already established that Indy got away.
Yeah.
He already got away. You can cut from him having escaped the opening warehouse sequence and then have him talking to the FBI about the fucking incident at Area 51. There is no reason for the fridge sequence to happen at all. It's just there to be dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
I feel like it's there for more 1950s. This movie's got a hard-on for 1950s.
fuck off with the 1950 shit. I don't care.
Although
like, we've established it.
Although though, dude, the not a diner where they were, but when they started the fight between the greasers and the letter jacket people, I like that scene.
I can't even get on board with that one because it's the fucking it's a good, if that had been like one of the only 50s callbacks, it's perfectly fine. It's a good idea. It's just it's fucking compounding so many goddamn times to beat me over the head. It's like, I get it. We're in the fucking 50s. Can we move on?
And I get it. Can we move on? Is basically the overall synopsis of this movie.
I get it. Can we move on?
Yeah, with all of the past Indiana Jones references, with the 1950s stuff, they keep waving the fucking crystal skull in your face the entire movie, and I think that's one of the problems we have, because the other three movies, we spend most of the movie trying to get the Ark, or at least get it back. We get it and then it's lost again. We spend the entire movie trying to get to the Holy Grail. We spend the entire movie looking at the chakra stones. They're so close, but they're just out of reach. And then we finally get our hands on them. And this movie, it's like from the get-go, hey, look, I have a crystal skull. And then it's just there the entire movie. And usually in the Indiana Jones movies, it's like a race to get to the thing first, but the bad guys already have the thing. This entire movie.
It's such a weirdly plotted out movie.
Yeah, but they're acting like there's still a race to it. And it's really odd to me.
It has the cadence of being a race, but there's no stakes, so you don't give a shit. It's just... Oh, also, let's talk about... I think the cinematography in this movie is really bad.
I agree.
Because, especially if you compare it to Raiders and Temple of Doom, they had like a real like grit to them, and they had this really worn-in sensibility.
DP, I think Temple of Doom's like cinematography and their director of photography and everything had to have done some horror movies, because there's some fucking terrifying shots in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, it's really. And then this movie, everyone just looks very pristine. You have these moments where they're getting
nobody
fucked
gets
up.
Dirty. Everyone's always dirty in Indiana Jones movies.
Like there's and like the scene that I think of is like Temple of Doom when Indy's on the bridge. He looks like he's been through hell, because he has been.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones at the end of this movie looks like he had just like a comfortable stroll to the fucking like local mall.
His shirt's still ironed.
His shirt's still ironed. None of them have any blood. Marion's face should be on the side of a fucking tree. She's fine. I don't get it. I don't get why you don't even like. So many individuals, I feel like, phone this movie the fuck in.
Yeah.
That it shows.
Mutt is the only one that is allowed to look good through the whole movie because he's constantly combing his hair. Everyone else should be fucking dirty and grimy.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we did like, since we're nearing the end of the episode, though, so we go out on like a bit of a positive note. What was some of your favorite stuff?
I liked it when the credits hit. That was pretty dope. No, I love the opening shot when they intro Indy with a shadow. I'm always game for that. I can't not love Indy being introduced with a fucking shadow just because I'm a fucking Raiders nerd, you know?
Yeah.
Love John Hurt. I'm with you. I actually really like Shia LaBeouf when he is not A, swinging with monkeys, and B, fencing and getting his nutsack hit by foliage.
I was pleasantly surprised by his performance. I wrote him off the first time I saw this because I was just sick of seeing him and everything.
Which, by the way, I don't blame you at all, because he was in everything for a period of about 5 years.
God.
You couldn't throw a rock without hitting a fucking LaBeouf movie, dude.
Yeah, and and then nowadays, when I see him, I think of green screens and paper bags on the head and pulling out your own teeth with pliers, and
he's cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs, dude. But it's weird. I think he's still a really talented actor. He has the ability, if he could just get out of his own way, to be a really good actor. You know, like when you have like we've often mentioned, his fucking performance in Fury is really good, and you're like, holy shit, LaBeouf can still act. He just chooses to be a fucking psycho sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I would really enjoy the motorcycle chase because one thing that I associate with Indiana Jones movies is they tend to have like 4 chase sequences throughout the movie, and they always kind of one up another, which is the biggest problem with the fencing one at the end of the movies. They're trying to one up every chase scene they've ever done.
Ugh.
When you only need to one up your own, you only need to one up the ones in this movie. You don't need to one up every chase scene that's ever happened. But anyways, the motorcycle chase scene felt very Indiana Jones to me, and I like how like they pull him off of the motorcycle into the car, and he takes out the dudes and ends up back on the motorcycle, and like,
yeah, and a lot of it appears to be Harrison Ford, which is crazy.
And and there's it's when they're really driving home. One thing that we talked about in every Indiana Jones movie so far is Indiana Jones's superpower is his ability to improvise. And Mutt, especially with that motorcycle chase scene, is doing a lot of the Indiana Jones improvisation in a tough spot. And it really kind of sells you on that character fairly early on with that chase scene. Also, I noticed something in the credits. The student that they end up in front of, is that Tom Hanks' rapper, songwriter son?
Oh, Colin Hanks? It could be. I'm not 100% sure.
It said Chet. And I know his son goes by Chet Hayes, but it said Chet Hanks in the credits.
Could be him.
And I was just like, whoa, back up. In a fucking sweater vest? Was that Chet Hayes? But yeah, anyways, yeah, I liked having Marion back.
Yeah, it is son of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. You were correct.
Yeah, there we go.
That is Chet Hanks. I thought you were talking. I know. Now that you mentioned like the rapper thing, I remember this kid existing.
Yeah.
But when you say
no one else
Tom Hanks' son, I think of Colin Hanks, who's actually like the talented actor. And
I didn't know he had another
rapper.
son. I only knew about this one.
I'm sure you've seen Colin Hanks and stuff. He's actually pretty good. He's not as good as his dad, but because he was never going to be, but he's pretty good. Because I mean, when your dad's Tom Hanks, like, one of the most beloved individuals in the history of humanity, you can't live up to that motor. You have to cure cancer. That is the only out that you have to be on equal footing with your dad. If your dad's Tom Hanks, it's just not gonna happen.
But I liked that. I liked everything in the diner, especially the physical comedy between him and Harrison Ford. Like, he takes the beer and then Harrison Ford takes it back and puts it back, and
that part's great.
I like basically all the scenes that is just Mutt and Indy, probably the most, when they're going on their little adventure, like the graveyard scene. I really like that graveyard scene.
Like we had talked shit about the cinematography. One bit of cinematography I actually really like is when they first show the skull beneath the bridge, and it's revealed to be a dude with like a skull mask. That part's really cool. I forgot about that until it happened. I was like, oh fuck, that was a fucking horror movie moment. That was like an OG, like you said, like Temple of Doom horror scene. And then they completely ruin it by having one of them do a fucking Scooby-Doo eye through the hole thing at the end. I'm like, oh my god, what am I watching? Ugh.
You can almost just hear the Scooby-Doo like music when that happens. Do 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 bam bam bam. One thing that I love, like I said, if the Indiana Jones movies are a little cartoonish, this one's Looney Tunes, but one that fits right in with everything Indiana Jones is when the poor asshole is bringing up the blow dart, and then Harrison Ford pops up and blows in the other end.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I forgot about that.
That couldn't be more Indiana Jones in a nutshell.
And then just the look of horror on LaBeouf's face as he witnesses that, because I'd be freaking the fuck out too. I mean, it's such a good lead into the, are you a teacher? You're a teacher line. It's a great.
Because he just ends up standing in the middle of the graveyard as Indiana Jones is popping up and taking out all these fucking dudes one at a time, and then at the end of it, you're a teacher? Part-time. Another moment that is 1000% elevated by the performance and not what's on the page.
when Indy first sees Marion is adorable. His just reaction.
They are hostages at gunpoint. Marion, like it's like they're at a college, like a high school reunion, and they're fucking hostages.
Because you know me, I love Marion, and I love that they were able to get her back for this one. Even though the movie she's in isn't particularly good, I actually really like all the stuff.
No,
between
but her and Harrison Ford are good together. Right, they're really good in Raiders. They're both, even though the movie's not great, they're both really good together in this. And I just want to say, I should have said this in Raiders. I didn't think of it then. Marion Ravenwood is gotta be the most Bloodborne name I think I've ever heard.
It's pretty fucking metal, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd be like, what's the Hunter of Hunters? She'd be like her sister or something. Like,
Eileen.
Yeah.
Fucking dude, if they ever do make like an animated thing for Bloodborne, I want Eileen.
Yes,
that's where you go with that.
That's exactly where you go. I and take a drink because we crowbarred Bloodborne and/or Dark Souls into the Crystal Skull episode. Take a drink.
We had to talk about something.
No, I think we've had plenty to talk about. I love the scene. And again, it's just like really good exchanges between Harrison Ford and Karen Allen when she talks about how they have the argument when they're trying to like untie their handcuffs and shit. And, you know, she's like, I thought for sure you would have gotten remarried. And he's like, yeah, you know, there were plenty of girls, but they all had one problem. They weren't you. Dude. And she just has this huge beaming grin on her face, and it just totally sells their relationship so much to me, just in a smile.
And when he says that, it's one of the few times that Indiana Jones is ever kind of emotional. And when he says that, you're just like, Harrison Ford sells the line, so you're just like, oh my god, like he's so romantic.
And he says it as he's hopping out. A 60-fucking-year-old Harrison Ford as he's hopping out the window to go kick some ass. You're like, fuck yeah, I love Indiana Jones, dude.
Okay. This is something else I should have pointed out. One of my favorite all-time movie sound effects is the Indiana Jones like fist punch.
The smack.
That smack sound.
Yeah. And it's so satisfying.
It is best used off camera, in my opinion. And this is one of the moments, because right after he climbs out to go take over the truck, it focuses on her and Mutt, and you hear that sound in the background.
Punch. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Another thing I like.
Talking.
Another thing we didn't mention I like the murder fire ants. They do some cool like horror movie shit with the fire ants, like where the poor guy who is getting carried into the anthill is me. That is how I would go out in this film.
No, I would be the guy on the cliff that gets smacked by the tree.
Yeah, you're probably right. We would be fly swatted by the fucking giant tree and then fall off the cliff. In the movie where everyone is indestructible, we would get fly swatted by a tree and then fall off of a fucking cliff. That's another thing. That moment is real dumb. I kind of like it. You know, I don't like
it.
I kind of like it.
It's stupid. It's stupid, but it doesn't out-stupid the movie. You know what I mean? It fits in the movie.
Yeah, that Whereas joke of
the tree swinging
fly
is
swatter
a little bit too far.
The tree fly swatter feels to me like the level of the Kamikaze Nazi, which is now my new online handle for all video games, is the Kamikaze Nazi.
That guy was devoted to his beliefs.
He really was, dude.
For all he knew, that tunnel wasn't even fucking there when he whipped around that mountain, dude. Oh my god. It's so fast. It's so
that
fast.
Man is, you cannot question his commitment to fucking Nazi sparkle motion, dude. He was committed all the way.
Oh my god.
I like the scene with the fire ants, as the little fucking fire ants remind me of the fucking zombies from World War Z when they're mounting each other to get up to kill Kate Blanchett. Like, man, these fire ants are fucking angry, dude.
But also, what is the point of that? She squeezes one between her legs and it squirts the camera and we move on. We cut just for that and then cut back.
That's another thing.
That's another thing that needed to be edited out, though.
There's if you remove opening sequence with the teenage kids in the 50s unnecessarily driving with the Ukrainian people if you remove the nuking the fridge sequence, if you remove part of the fencing, if you remove the monkey swinging, so much of the shit, it's so much addition by subtraction that Spielberg has to realize that you are one of the most beloved directors of all time, if not the most beloved director of all time. How do you have Jaws on your resume and Raiders and Last Crusade and Jurassic Park and all these fucking wonderful masterpieces on your resume and not realize to get rid of the shit that don't make any fucking sense? But then you realize Spielberg has done this before. The Lost World, as we mentioned last week, has gymnastically murdered velociraptors. He can't help but and I'm just like, Spielberg, I just want to smack him across the face like, I love you, man. Why are you doing this to me? Why do I have to watch LaBeouf swinging to the trees? And why do I have to watch gymnastically murdered velociraptors in my fucking Jurassic Park movie? Why?
My new Twitter handle of this moment is gymnastically murdered.
No, we missed the fucking opportunity. We could have named the podcast Gymnastically Murdered Velociraptors.
We need a spin-off podcast to talk about all the dumb shit in movies. That's just
welcome
called
to the GMV,
murdered.
motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh
fucking Christ, dude. I need an intervention with Spielberg. I need like a talking pillow. And I'm just like, and it's a plushie of a velociraptor head. I'm just like, okay, when I have the pillow, I talk. When you have the pillow, you talk. Quit having dumb shit in your fucking sequels that serve no purpose. I don't understand.
He can get a little Looney Tunes with some of his stuff.
Oh,
he's weird. He's got a weird dial that just bounces back and forth from left to right and then right to left, and it's really strange.
It's frustrating to me,
and it's not. You're gonna have a conniption, but it's not necessarily a problem in itself. It's a problem when the dial chooses to flip, right? Like, you go from Lost World to all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the gymnastics scene back to Lost World. And you go this movie to swinging from the vines with monkeys and then back to the movie. And it's like, bro, there is probably a movie out there where this shit fits in. These are not the movies where this shit fits in.
It's really bizarre to me.
It's a really bizarre quirk that he has, and it seems like as his career goes on and he becomes more Steven Spielberg, that he does more of this type stuff. Because he doesn't start out doing these things, but as he goes on,
it's also incredibly weird though, because it's almost like when he wants to, he just turns that side of his films like this man directed Schindler's List.
I know.
How does the same guy who directed Schindler's List have gymnastically murdered velociraptors and, foliage nut shots and just all of this dumb shit?
You can't keep saying gymnastically murdered and expect me to keep doing this podcast. I can't handle it. That
was my new catchphrase for this show. It's just everything is just gymnastically murdered.
Oh my god.
Dude, Bridge of Spies.
Yeah.
It's like, have you watched that movie?
I have not, actually.
You should. It's really good. But like Bridge of Spies, it's just like fucking awesome Cold War thriller.
I'm looking at Steven Spielberg's IMDb page, and I just got this random visual of E.T. gymnastically murdering a velociraptor, and I don't know why. And now whatever movie I kind of want this now.
Whichever movie has that, I'm there opening weekend, dude. Pandemic be damned. I'm all about the gymnastically murder velociraptors. Yeah, you just can't.
He was an executive producer on Bumblebee? Excuse me?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that. Also the fact that Spielberg is directing West Side Story. I think Spielberg is has just a boner for the 50s.
I think he does.
That's the only thing that would explain all of the fucking repetitive 50s references, the opening sequence to fucking the Elvis song and all that bullshit. Like, he just has to have a 50s boner. It's fine. You know, he grew up around that time, so it makes sense. But just like realize when you're doubling and tripling down on a thing, and if you are Steven Spielberg, I am naturally going to hold you to a very high standard because you have directed some of the most beloved movies of all time and some of the best movies of all time.
Because you are Steven Spielberg. I have to hold you accountable at the Steven Spielberg level.
Yeah, exactly. This is why a lot of people would disagree. I think Ridley Scott is a better director than Steven Spielberg because Ridley Scott...
He's more consistent.
Like, Ridley Scott would see in the script the fucking fencing shit and the monkeys swinging and be like, oh, hell no. You redo the script. It's like he knows when to put his foot down and realize when shit is stupid because Ridley Scott might not have made as many blockbusters as Steven Spielberg has, but it goes hand in hand with him being more choosy about his projects and, you know, being more choosy about who he works with, what scripts he adapts. And I think Ridley Scott has a much better eye for writing. Case in point, Ridley Scott went out of his way to adapt The Martian.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg went out of his way to adapt Ready Player One. One of those books is a masterpiece and one of my favorite things of all time, and the other thing is Ready Player One. And yeah, I just now to his credit, Spielberg elevated the fuck out of Ready Player One and actually made it like a somewhat enjoyable story. Somewhat watchable, I should say.
Yeah,
watchable.
I was gonna say watchable is where I'd put that.
But it's incredibly enjoyable compared to the book that he adapted. But he needs to realize that book is kind of shitty and maybe don't make it in the fucking first place.
That movie actually feels a lot like this one in a lot of ways. It's kind of boring. It doesn't really go anywhere. There's not really any stakes to it. In a lot of ways, it feels a lot like this one, Ready Player One,
like
as you mentioned.
Meandering mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That also my new Twitter handle. That's the tagline for this podcast now.
There's been a lot of taglines, but like we've had more taglines in the fucking script for Crystal Skull. Just, I mean, gymnastically murdered velociraptors, dude. That is a high bar.
I saw them live once.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking wish, man. I wish. Just look through fucking Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
How the fuck you direct that the year after the previously mentioned Velociraptor scene? Like, come on, man. Like, what is happening here? Why is this happening? I don't get it. This is another reason why I'm actually glad James Mangold is making the new one, because I don't know what to expect. Like, so like hypothetically speaking, if Spielberg had directed the 15 Indiana Jones movie, toss a fucking coin, because we've had two. I
just totally derailed you.
You totally derailed my thought. Fuck you, because I'm hearing the song, that wonderful song in my brain now. Fuck you. But you toss a coin, and you're either getting a fucking classic or you're getting just some real dumb shit, you know. And I don't know what I'm gonna get. So at this point, I just feel like I trust James Mangold to have like a proper send-off that doesn't involve stupid shit, you know, for no reason. But
you know what this movie needed? More Dan Aykroyd cameos.
That's what we were missing. You nailed it. You nailed it. You know what this movie needed? More racist stereotypes. At least this movie's not. Well, I mean, I guess are the skull-faced villagers? Is that kind of racist? I can't tell. I honestly can't tell.
At this point, I don't know anymore.
I wasn't for sure either. Now it's obviously not anywhere near as racist and sexist as Temple of Doom is, so it has that going for it. But
yeah, we didn't even touch on like the treatment of like Indian culture and like Indian food and everything. We were too busy talking about all the other racism and sexism.
Dude, Temple of Doom is,
there was so much we lost track of it.
It's so troublesome, dude. Like, I'm just you know the GIF you sent me earlier, the Michael Scott from The Office, the Carell face. That is my review of Temple of Doom. That's my face I'm making the first hour and a half of that fucking movie, because it's just stereotype after sexism after more. So here's some more stereotypes. You got your stereotypes and my racism. It's very troublesome.
Two great
it's very
tastes.
troublesome.
Let's
talk about the aliens. We got to talk about the aliens.
Yeah, as I say, we can't get out here before we talk about the.
I don't have any issue with there being aliens. I have an issue with it not mattering because the third act doesn't fucking matter because nothing really happens.
Yeah, here's the thing. Aliens are not any more unlikely than face-melting angels.
Aliens are more likely than all that shit.
Magic stones, magic cups.
The Holy Grail.
Yeah. Like you said, with how many planets there are out there, it's almost guaranteed.
It is
that
much
there's
more
extraterrestrials.
It is a much higher statistical probability that there are aliens than there is an old 700-year-old man with a magic fucking Jesus cup. Okay? Yeah. So everyone complaining about the goddamn aliens.
You're getting
go
so
fuck
much
yourself.
more angry as the podcast goes on.
Because there's, like we talked about, I love a lot of scenes in this movie at like the micro level. The problem is there's so much dumb shit and it just meanders to so many boring fucking avenues that I just find it incredibly frustrating.
The thing that upsets me is the things that people focus on when they talk about like this movie being bad are not things that are a problem with the movie. Everybody hates the aliens and
it has aliens, therefore it's dumb. Fuck you. There are way more problems that you can focus on. Yeah, I 1000% agree.
In the warehouse scene at the very beginning of the movie, they drop that on you. So, it's not like it's a surprise at the end of the movie. That's another thing that was supposed to be a twist, I think. And it couldn't have been more crystal clear that it was the body from the Roswell crash right at the beginning.
Ron, you can't have time to develop mystery when we got 3 fucking gopher scenes we got a crowbar in this movie, okay? Come on, man.
You leave my gophers alone.
Get your goddamn prairie dog priorities in a fucking row. I'm gonna turn this fucking podcast around, bro. Okay?
You leave my groundhogs alone, dude. They haven't hurt nobody. All right?
That's correct. That's correct. Very bad CGI on those prairie dogs, though.
Very bad CGI in a lot of this movie. It's actually kind of surprising.
The alien looks so bad.
Like,
why?
Dude.
Do they need to show this extended fucking like minute and a half glare from this horrible looking alien? It would be so much cooler if she is just like looking into like the weird light and her eyes just start melting, That like you literally fucking had this ending in Raiders. Don't show exactly what is making their fucking face melt and it's so much cooler. Why? Ugh. Okay, sorry, continue.
So, just to point out. No. I just want to point out. This movie came out in 2008, and the CGI looks the way that it does. And this was a major blockbuster film with a huge cast with major directors and producers. And this came out the same year as Iron Man.
I was just about to say 2008. Same year as Iron Man, dude. Come on.
And
now.
Iron Man looks a little rough now as well, but it still looks pretty damn good overall.
It looks absolutely fucking modern compared to that goddamn alien. Those fucking prairie dogs, dude. Like the CGI in this movie is pretty rough.
Now, here's the question that I walked away with when the credits scrolled.
You just had one? That's very impressive.
One immediate one.
Okay.
So, my question for you, Geoff, is please explain to me. Did Indiana win or lose?
Nobody won or lost anything because there was no goal. People just kind of walked around in the jungle. Some guys got tree fly swatted off of a cliff. Some guys got killed by some ants. And Cate Blanchett wanted some knowledge.
Which she got. It was too much for her, but she got it. Right? Because that's what burned her up, right? Is the knowledge. All downloading all that knowledge into her brain.
Yeah, she got 5G downloaded directly to her brain and it was just over.
And then she got Red Skulled out of here. Yeah. And then, like, you can say Indiana Jones won because he survived. But, like, at the end of the day, he's not even the one that returned the skull. Like the skull told him to. Like she did. Like he brought it, but she's the one that put it back in place and everything. She got her wish granted by this genie alien, and like he kind of lost ? But didn't. Like I mean, I can't even tell if he won or lost.
The thing is, he kind of has a similar agency and outcome within Raiders. But the thing is it's kind of cool for Raiders because it was subverting expectations that your hero at that time in this homage to these old serials kind of lost. But the thing is like you actually give a shit because there are stakes and you know every single person's motivations within the scenes you're watching. You don't know anyone's motivations outside of fucking Mac. He likes money.
Yep.
Mac is the only character who has a concise fucking motivation in this entire goddamn film, and it's that he likes money.
Yep.
The most and he's not even likable and funny like Benny and the Mummy, like you talked about. Like I was even before you mentioned it, like while I was watching it, I was getting like a lot of flashbacks. So this is like a really bad remake of the Mummy in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the character beats. It
even
and a
has
lot
the
of,
scarabs. That was the thing that bothered me about the ants is they saw the scarabs in the mummy in the money. You got me talking about money because of how greedy Ray Winstone was.
Yeah, you're going full Winstone, bro.
Yeah, but
all about the money.
So that kind of bothered me until the dude got drugged down into the fucking ant colony, and I was like, oh no,
and then you totally redeemed yourself.
Oh no.
And his skin's all like purple. I'm just like, oh god, please bathe me in Imperial right now.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. Now, what did you think of the more modern theme song though? I like the theme song to this movie. It's not my favorite one, but I like it.
I didn't have any issues with the music because I was too busy being confused about characters to even. I think he did fine. I really like some of the music he does towards the end as the ship is about to teleport off screen for some reason. That's another like weird framing thing. It's like we ran out of money putting in the third Gopher scene.
They obscure it with the earth and the rocks and everything.
Here's an idea. Don't spend $25 million animating the fucking alien poorly for an on-screen sequence that goes on for way too fucking long. Why don't you just show the fucking ship as it disappears? Because it's very weirdly shot.
Yeah.
It floats up, and I'm like, hey, camera guy, tilt the fucking camera up 10 degrees so we can see what's happening, and you hear the sound effect. And John Williams' music is the only thing that fucking saves it at all because he has this like really eerie, cool theme happening.
The spaceship is Bruce, dude. The spaceship is the fucking shark.
You disrespect everything that Jaws ever stood for by comparing that scene to Bruce. Come on, man. Come on, man. This next time directed fucking Jaws. God damn it. I came away from this movie a lot more angry in ways than I thought I would.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
I still don't hate it though. I don't hate this movie. I hate aspects of this movie.
When oh boy, I didn't get that at all. No, at the end of the day, when this was over, I was like, okay, if you just completely shut down and eat your popcorn while watching it, I don't mind it, right? And you can put that in the fucking poster. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I don't mind it. Ellipsis. See, I go in the other direction though. I think it's so much of a bigger sin to be boring than it is to be bad. I almost wish this was bad.
Yeah.
And I could be, because it makes it more heartbreaking when there's so like I have talked about several scenes in this movie that I fucking love. The warehouse scene, motorcycle chase, the quicksand, the exchange when Indy first sees Marion.
Yeah.
The scene as he's about to go kick ass and he says like, you know, like the only problem was they weren't you. There's so much to like that is fucking surrounded by stupid shit.
The rocket launcher, when you, by the way.
And when you, what about the rocket launcher? Sorry.
When he's like, well, what's he gonna do? I don't think he thinks that far ahead. And then when the rocket launcher pops out, and just I would cover my ears.
Yeah,
like I fucking love that because Going back to him improvising, and he found a fucking RPG in the back.
Actually, surprisingly, also really like Shia LaBeouf in this, outside of the stupid shit that we've already talked about.
Really enjoyed Shia LaBeouf in this, and it kind of makes me want to go back to one or two of his that I was kind of just okay on back in the day.
Like, what were you thinking of? Like Eagle Eye? That's the first one that I think of.
Eagle Eye I was paid to watch and still wanted to walk out of, but I kind of want to
I didn't find
give it a try again.
I think it's fine. I didn't find it bad.
I was just like, so what? It's Enemy of the State with Shia LaBeouf?
It is very Enemy of the State. It's even shot with the same like color palette as Enemy of the State. It's like they weren't even hiding it.
Yeah. And then I really liked what was it? Disturbia?
Yes.
Where he's like lame, like in a wheelchair, there's like a leg bandaged up, got the binoculars looking out the window, sees like a murder.
That's a cool movie. It's a Hitchcock homage, and it's really cool. It actually does like a really good job of homaging that old Hitchcock thriller, you know. I liked it.
But I might not do any of this because next summer we're probably going to be revisiting some Shia LaBeouf classics, and I'm not too happy about it.
Just have to go and bring the room down, man. Fucked up.
I might not survive those. Just so you know, I'm going to be you in this episode.
See, that's the thing, is we have covered worse movies than this on this podcast alone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I dislike Temple of Doom more than I dislike this movie. But I'm very frustrated by this movie because there are so many aspects of it that I really like.
Yeah.
And one very, very specific pet peeve of mine when it comes to movies, TV shows, it's like just everything. When I can find shit to cut out of your project and make the movie better, addition through subtraction, you fucked up. That is a huge pet peeve of mine. Because like we talked about, eliminate some of those scenes. This movie goes from like a C- to like a C+ instantly, just by removing sequences of the movie that Spielberg has to know are bad. Like, you need to know better. You need to understand that. Also, don't have George Lucas anywhere near the fucking production. I know you made the original movies together. I know that you're buddies. George Lucas is no longer the same person that he was in the 80s.
However,
I'm sorry.
It is totally okay to have Kevin Smith on set doing his George Lucas impression the entire time.
I am totally on board for that.
Totally and knowing him, he'll go buy everyone donuts, because apparently that's what he does on every production set. So.
Yeah, Kevin Smith is just the best at making everyone love him, because he's just more like your awesome uncle than like a director. And I love him for that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything I meant. You want to talk about the Gopher some more? You want to talk about some more Ray Winstone? I think we've covered like literally everything about this movie in record time, I might add. I looked up at the clock.
Yeah.
We're not even at an hour or 20 yet. I could have easily bitched about some of the dumb shit in this movie for like 3 hours. And almost thought that I had for a second. I was like, oh god, how long is this episode going to be? Because I feel like I've just been screaming for a while.
This podcast is about the length this movie should have been.
What was your I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it, man. Man, if I was good at Photoshop, I'd make that like fucking right after this podcast.
The reason I lost my shit when you said that is I imagined the poster. I imagined that I don't mind it, ellipses. But the quote was from Gymnastically Murdered Velociraptor. You know, one of my absolute favorite things from this movie, though?
What's that?
It's only done in the trailers.
Okay.
It's only done in the trailers, and they do it in all the trailers because they're very proud of it, and they should be. It's really fucking cool looking. I don't even know how to describe it. He's like in semi-silhouette, like just in a black background, and then it zooms out, and he's standing like in the A of Indiana Jones as it zooms out real fast to the title. Go watch the trailer. That is an amazing graphic that looks like the opening of a video game I want to play. And which there is a video game coming, by the way. I just don't remember when.
I just want to point out, someone in the IMDb photo, someone took a snippet of the Scooby-Doo eye through the hole in the mask and was like, God damn it.
I didn't even look at, hold on, going back to the IMDibs.
Yeah, what I found out is towards the end of a recording, and I'm like, did I forget anything that I'm gonna be pissed off for forgetting? What I do is I just kind of scroll through the IMDb images from the film just to kind of see if I can catch anything.
One thing I was going to ask you about is, did you think that the Russian soldier that has the glasses that actually opens the alien magnetic coffin thing, looked a lot like fucking Shane Black from Predator?
I didn't think that, but I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Because I was just like, dude, either Shane Black hasn't aged, or they got a Hawkins like stunt double.
Very possible.
I found your review on IMDb, Geoff. I know what you did.
Oh shit! What'd you find?
1 out of 10. The title is "Why, Lucas? Why? 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 Please tell me why? Why? Why?" Warning, spoilers.
Here's the thing. Everyone else knew that George Lucas was fucking washed. Steven Spielberg should have known that too, and kept his ass away from the project. You wanna know what happens when George Lucas has too much control in Indiana Jones? You get the script for Temple of Doom from his fucking butt buddies. You know? Back the fuck off. It's like, once bitten, twice shy, dude. Come on, man. You have had a production fucked so hard that you waited like 6 years for good scripts. How do you wait like 30 years and not have like a better script than this? That's another disturbing thing.
Yeah.
If this feels like a movie, like a sequel script that was churned out in like record time just to hit a required release date, like a rush script. What's the most like lowest common denominator bullshit we can throw in here? Yeah, we'll have his testicles get whacked by fucking foliage. You know, we'll have him swinging with the fucking monkeys. We'll have a nuked refrigerator for no reason. Just because like we're just scrambling for ideas. Everything that is somewhat, you know, filmable gets thrown in. When did Last Crusade come out? It was like 89?
So I was going to say 89-ish.
So like 20 fucking years, like 2 decades, and this is what we're filming? Come on, guys.
So I've got two more for you.
Okay.
This one echoes something that you said almost word for word. Feels often like an indie parody is the title of the review.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like a Mel Brooks parody without the jokes.
This one is 6 out of 10. It says, entertaining in that self-parodying sort of way, but somebody please tell George Lucas to retire. Is the title of that one.
Man. Oh, hold on. Let me just scroll to Indiana Jones 5. If George Lucas is not involved in any way, shape, or form, I will do a fucking happy dance in my apartment right now. Let's see. Indiana Jones. Oh, they haven't even credited yet as like a title. It's kind of cool. Be interesting to see. Did you know Mads Mikkelsen is in Indy 5? What the fuck?
Yeah, he's the villain. They announced that a while back.
I don't follow movie news really anymore because everything gets
It's got
spoiled.
A good cast. It's got Toby Jones and Fleabag.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Boyd Holbrook. I like him too. He was one of the villains in Logan, so he must be buddies with Mingle.
You said, oh, Boyd, and I thought you were saying, oh, boy, at first.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh, thank Christ. Lucas is only credited for characters. He has no story credit. Thank God.
Nice.
Oh, man. Hallelujah.
Movie's got hope, except for it's still got Harrison Ford, whom I love, but let the man rest. Just let him rest.
You can rest now. You can rest now, indeed.
We need Gwyneth Paltrow to just gently set her hand on his cheek and say, you can rest now. Carl Urban just drove up.
Oh, now I'm just sad that that's never going to happen. Why can't we just, you know, fire Kathleen Kennedy and have someone who's like competent realize that Carl Urban would be an amazing indie and we can make movies, you know, that could be good. Maybe. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Did you have any other reviews you wanted to throw in before we wrap up, though?
No, that was all I had. I was going to ask you, though, we didn't talk beforehand on whose pick it is and when the next episode is happening.
Oh, fuck.
I think the best call is, since we have to announce a movie now, the next episode's in 2 weeks, back on our normal schedule.
Okay.
I don't think that puts us back on our normal schedule, but
yeah,
2 weeks is our normal schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, these month-long things always fuck up our schedule to some extent.
But I don't remember whose turn it is to pick, and my pick I just found out is not available anywhere.
Okay, so the most recent one before Indy was Onward with you.
Okay,
so
good. Thank God, I have time.
It is my selection.
There's finally time.
Do you want me to go ahead and pick one, or do we want to announce it at a different time on like Twitter or something?
I say go ahead and announce one. Did you have one in your pocket? You have a list, don't you?
I do have a list, so let's see. We are going to cover on the next episode. A Screenplay Rewind. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Nightcrawler.
Okay.
I want to watch Nightcrawler. I don't think you've seen it, right? I don't think you've seen that one.
I have seen about half of it.
Seen about half of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler is the really fucked up movie with Jake Gyllenhaal where he is the dude who drives up to these scenes of like crashes and murders and shit just to get images and stuff that he can sell to the news. And it's just like really fucked up movie that I think is gonna be fun to talk about. So I want to talk about that one. I still
cannot convince my dad that that's not a TV show with Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know why.
Not really a concept that I could see running for like an extended series, you know? Like,
yeah, well, I don't even think he knows what it is. I know he watched it because the first half that I watched was at his house. But Mom just stays out of it. And normally when I say that, he's like, oh, huh, and just like leaves it, whether he believes me or not, he just leaves it. He gets like angry. He's like, no, it's a TV show. It's on Netflix. I'm like, it's a movie on Netflix. And it's not made by Netflix. It was in theaters. But
it's a very bizarre hill to die on.
He's very passionate about that argument. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
I'm not sure. Maybe we can investigate it for like, this is so weird. Like, why would your first instinct be like, I'm pretty sure, you know, Netflix probably still has more movies per capita than shows, right? Like, I would think. I mean, it's probably getting pretty close to 50-50 now, but like,
you're calling Netflix, you're greenlit.
You're greenlit. we would like to produce an immediate production gymnastically murder velociraptors. You're greenlit.
I swallowed my water as fast as I could because I knew that was fucking coming. Oh my god,
shit, dude.
The longer you drug that joke out, I was like, oh shit, put the bottle down. Put the bottle down.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a dumb fucking scene. I can't get over that to this very day. It happened like 30 years ago. I'll never get over it. Can't ever get over it. Yeah. If you would like to follow more of this show for some ungodly reason, you can do so by following us on Twitter at SPR Filmcast.
That's not really fair, Jeff. I didn't swing from any vines with monkeys.
The night is still young. We'll find
yeah, but I'm not. I can't swing from any vines.
Hey, dude, if Harrison Ford can film a goddamn indie movie at 80...
He can't, apparently, as it turns out.
Well, if he can, asterisk, he's still trying, dude. Harrison Ford has more drive to get up and, like, do shit at 80 than I do at 30.
Is he bored? Or does he just, like, hate his family? He has to have a reason. There's no way he can't just retire.
No, I figured out what the reason was. You want to know what the reason is? His family is like, hey, if he's filming the movie, there's less of a chance he can kill himself in a plane crash. So they're like, dude, Harrison, you got to do the movie, bro. I don't care what it is. You got to do it. They're doing more Star Wars. You got to do it. They're doing more indie. I mean, you're almost 80, but you got to do it, bro. You know, people might die on that golf course next time. You know, if you just crash a little bit more to the right, you know, you never know.
If we had a realistic Solo movie, would he just immediately crash the Millennium Falcon into the planet?
Probably.
While high. Yeah, I want to watch that. Know.
I want to watch that.
Just pass it to Carl Urban. Someone give him the fedora. I love Harrison Ford. I do. I don't want to come across like I'm tired of him or I don't. The man is 80.
For his own good.
It's elder abuse at some point because he had a door fall over on him on the Star Wars set and break his ankle
broke his
or something.
Fucking leg.
Yeah, and then he threw his shoulder out practicing for a fight scene for this movie.
See, everyone's so afraid of him crashing planes and flying vehicles. Even the Millennium Falcon was like trying to keep him from getting into the cockpit. You know, like,
crashed
it's time.
like 2 planes and then landed on the wrong runway and walked away from all of it.
He has crashed 3 planes just in the hour and a half it's taken us to record this podcast.
I knew I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Did you know every time 60 seconds pass, Harrison Ford crashes a plane? Did you know that?
I thought you were going to say
chestnut.
Every plane he crashes, another angel gets its wings.
That too. I usually make that joke. I went a different route, but you know, I do have my old chestnuts like that one. You know.
I don't want to hear about your chestnuts, Jeff.
My new chestnut is the I don't have to say you know what it is. I want a fucking shirt. Gymnastically murdered velociraptors. It's gonna be on a fucking T-Public shirt at a fucking online web shop near you soon, bro.
Dude, write that one down, and if we ever have merch,
hell yeah, dude.
if we ever have merch, I want merch just so I can fucking have it. We need to shut this down and open a Patreon.
Don't we get a free merch shit if we have like a Stream Elements plugin? Can we just go like make a Twitch just to get the Stream Elements merch, even though we'll never fucking use it probably?
But now, what do we call it? Do we go with our name, or do we just straight up call it Gymnastically Murdered Velociraptors and hope for the best?
GMV Incorporated. That is our sub brand.
If we ever have a production studio, that's what we're naming it and never explaining it to anyone.
Is this going to be a gymnastics pole and a claw? And that's the logo.
That's the logo with GMV Inc.
Yeah.
And we're never explaining it to anyone. They will ask, but we will never explain it to anyone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When our merch brand has some more subtext than the aliens in Crystal Skull. It's been a fun episode.
Okay, I the one thing I'll give it, it had shitty CGI, but I did like the look of the skeletons, and I did like that effect when they all start smashing into each other to make one alien.
Yeah, maybe like have that be the cool effect and not show the alien. Like just throw it.
Why was it so angry? They brought its head back. They brought its skull back.
Yeah, why was it so angry? I didn't even think about that. Why is the alien so pissed? Like, hey.
Is it because it knows what she wants the knowledge for? Because they're benevolent, right? They taught us farming and stuff, they said.
Alien's like, I happen to find Lord of the Rings overrated. Kate Blanchett executes her.
Because it, like, they're telepathic, and it wouldn't talk to her. Remember, it talked to Indy. It talked to John Hurt.
That subplot was fucking, it went nowhere. Where, like, Indy was telepathically communicating with the fucking, I forgot about that. That's dumb.
Yeah. But it spoke to him, it spoke to Ox, she straight up said it would not talk to her. And is it just because it knew what she would do with the information? We don't, but it apparently did. And is that what it was angry about? And then it Red Skulled her?
Dude, there's no fucking telling. Like, shit just happens. That's my, put that on the poster. Shit just happens. Jeff Miller, GMV Incorporated, 2021.
I know this, after all this talk about Kate Blanchett and Red Skull, I just kind of want to go watch Ragnarok now.
Ragnarok's real good.
I wouldn't go that far, but it is pretty good.
I was totally with you. The first time I watched it, I was like, this is kind of overrated and dumb. And the second time I watched it, I don't know what happened. Maybe I just watched it like a really good day. I loved that movie on the second watch. So I'm not 100% like some people out there. Some crazy people say like their favorite MCU film is Ragnarok. That's crazy to me.
That's crazy talk.
That's crazy talk, but I really fucking liked it on the rewatch. A lot of
podcasters that you and I both follow, one of them had Black Widow in their top 8. The other one said he wouldn't go that far, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I liked Black Widow. It's really good.
Yeah, you already saw it?
I saw it over the weekend. We should have spent our hour and a half talking about that instead of this.
Well, I won't be seeing it until October 6th, so...
You're not. I didn't go to like a packed theater to go see it, but I went to like a basically empty theater to go see it. Like I don't mind going into public.
I didn't even consider the possibility of a theater.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a family to take care of. I just have me, so I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna go watch Black Widow.
Christina really wants to pay the $30, and I was like, I mean, it was supposed to come out a year ago. I'm fine waiting. It says in the description, free for all Disney Plus people on October 6th. So
yeah,
I was like, it
yeah.
was supposed to come out a year ago. I'm fine. And she's like, what about all the other ones? I'm like, well, I got to watch them in order. So 3 months after they each come out. I mean, I have zero, like, I'm kind of done with the MCU in my mind a little bit. So, like, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush to go watch them like I used to be. After Endgame, I was like, all right, book is closed.
See, I would have agreed with you until I saw the Disney Plus shows, and especially Loki. Have you watched the finale yet? The drop today?
No.
You need to watch the finale of Loki, dude, because like they're doing some interesting shit that I'm very, very fucking stoked for. So it's like I was with you. I was like, I feel like Endgame is kind of like the perfect storybook ending for this, but then like they're doing some really interesting shit.
It doesn't help that I don't know jack shit about anything or anyone coming up. Like, I don't know anything about Shang-Chi. I don't know anything about the
Well, that
Eternals.
was intentional too.
They
were intentional. They were intentionally trying to break up the format and have a little bit more of a varied cast.
I'm not posing that as a negative because I had never heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know,
yeah, I don't think they can make a straight up garbage movie. Like, it's gonna be fine. It's just might not hit you as hard as some of their better stuff. But yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. We can spin off top of the MCU.
We're going into a whole nother podcast at this point.
I would be down to potentially do one for Loki if we get bored one day and just want to like fucking record for like an hour talking about Loki, because the finale of Loki is interesting to me. But yeah, we talked about the Twitter. We talked about the potential merch on the horizon. Keep an eye out for that.
I mean, he's probably green, isn't he? Sorry.
Let's see.
You got me thinking about Loki.
With the reviews, ratings, any other platforms that you're on that have that type of thing, it really helps us out. We really appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions you'd like to post for us to be talked about on the show, please email us at screenplayrewind@gmail.com. Any
Bobby,
future stuff you'd like to see us cover.
Jones gifts.
Oh yeah. Get your fried chicken ? In.
This one better involve velociraptors and or gymnastics.
All of the above, yes. And Ron, where can you be found on the internet when you're not talking about some Indiana Jones with me on the podcast?
I am RonSense TV on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
And I think that's going to be a wrap. I feel like I've been... You know how like the Indiana Jones thing is like it's not about the years, it's about the mileage? I think I've yelled about like 4 hours worth in this hour and a half, so I definitely get that vibe.
You got to get one of those vocal zones out.
I do. I have those. Haven't been using them. I think it's probably a special occasion that requires one just to be able to speak tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for listening. Exporting.
For some reason, I heard like a dollar compression when you said that. Exporting!
Exporting.